Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kayla and I am a tarot reader, a medium, and also a spiritual and subconscious mind coach. So here on YouTube, I really love to do channeled messages and readings and also bring some of like my work stuff into this space. So you'll see like those little Let's Talk series kind of scattered throughout. It's an interesting conglomeration to do between like tarot readings and like, coaching work, but it seems to be pretty beneficial. So at any rate, today's video is actually channeled messages, and it's all about what you can expect for the rest of 2022. So this one is a little bit more time-oriented. Normally what happens with my readings is they have a tendency to be timeless, so whenever you land on them, there's definitely a message there for you at that time. Now, my intention with this is for the rest of 2022. So ideally, you'd be hearing these messages to understand this particular timeline. However, because time doesn't exist and it's also not linear, what I do recommend is that if you landed here and it's past 2022, there's still something here for you. Maybe there's just a confirmation, like you start watching whatever pile you pick and there's like an animal or a number or one particular message that you needed to hear at the moment. So in an essence, everything is timeless, but just wanted to clarify. I'm really excited to dive into this for you guys. If you've never done a pick a card reading before, here's how it works. Very plain and simple. When I show you guys the piles, just take a moment to get centered and grounded, whether that's a few like deep cleansing breaths or just asking for that clarity, that guidance, or just feeling into your body. I have a tendency to feel which pile I need to listen to when I'm listening to other people's readings. So it's like right away, I'm just like, okay, I know that one. So whatever speaks to you, if it's the number, if it's the color, if it's like an imagery that's on the card, something along those lines, lean into that, listen to that. And if you feel called to more than one, that's fine. You're more than welcome to listen to as many as you want. And if anything does not resonate for you, just let it go. Just be like, okay, and let it be. Sometimes we have a tendency to just take things so personally, and the reality is that it's not. You get to choose and co-create your reality, and we're just going to remind you of that a little bit more every day. So I'm super grateful you guys are here. I'm going to go ahead and let you choose your pile. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and dive into picking your piles. There are 4 to choose from, and we're going to start with the 2013 Oracle, and these are very in-depth cards, so I'm excited to finally be sharing them on the channel. But you can go ahead and take your pick from pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. And after you've like tuned in, or hopefully they've spoken to you by now, you can go ahead and scroll down to the timestamps below. All right, welcome pile number 1 to your 2022 reading. What does the rest of the year have in store for you from whenever you watch this until the end of the year? This is also, like I said previously, a video where if you land on it, then you're meant to hear something in this message. So I'm really grateful to have you guys here. We have a pretty thick stack of oracle cards that we're going to get into, so I'm just going to get rolling. But this particular deck, the 2013 Oracle, I've started diving into it and working with it, and it is very, very, very in-depth. So what I'm going to do is read as much as I feel called, really. It's a pretty dense book. So I just want to share how cool are like the shapes of these cards. Right? They're so tiny, but they really pack a punch. And there's a lot of meaning too between like the symbolism of the sun or moon at the top and then the numbers at the bottom. But let's see, so it is the number 8, so 8 could be significant to you. The number 8 also stands for it's like the infinity symbol, so it's like endless opportunities and a lot of abundance. So if you're seeing 888, that's just saying that like the rest of this year is going to be very fruitful for you, a lot of abundance coming in. But this card in particular is the advisors are asking for advice. There are inherent truths hidden in the fabric of reality. Ancient experts were given the task of unraveling these truths and giving advice. There were advisors who were priestesses, priests, sibyls, seers, prophets, astronomers, dreamers, dancers, scholars, and many other kinds of specialists. The ancient advisors knew how to gaze into flames and bones and animal behavior and all of this, and in order to hear the unheard voices. 8 is the advisor card's number, and the number 8 has achieved knowledge and authority. As such, 8 becomes a guiding number. In the ideal, advisors guide and assist one in the process of evolving to a higher state. The ancient calendars are divided into 8 parts and charted 8 Venus counterclockwise positions in alignment with Earth. The number 8 can be very lucky. So for me, what this is saying to you guys right off the bat is like the rest of this year is going to be pretty magical, and there's a few different things. Number one, you could be someone who very much so feels called to being that type of advisor, being in that type of teaching and guiding space, and really diving into divination and unveiling the world's truths and sharing that with people. And if you do feel called to that, you're either really feeling pulled to do that like full time, you're like, fuck, I think I really need to like do this, or you're just like really diving into it as a hobby, as a pastime, as something you deeply love and enjoy, and that's being honored. Like if you choose to go that route, the advisors are like thanking you and honoring you for continuing what they've started. Another message for you, and we'll keep diving in and like unraveling this, but another message for you is actually potentially that you need to seek out this type of counsel or advisor, because to me, when this card pops up, it has a lot to say about you as a reflection, but it also has a lot to say about like where you're going, right? So maybe you're going to begin to really connect with a lot of these types of energies, advisors, like whether that's in real life, you know, like psychics or mediums, people who do divination, any type of like mystical arts, those types of things, or you're really starting to tune into like your personal spirit guides. And I am getting like, you know, this deck in particular is very it's, you know, based on like the ancient Mayan traditional like way of being, so there's a lot of like native energy in these cards, which is really cool. So we're gonna go ahead and start moving through, but I'll keep this at the head. The one tarot card, the one deck that wanted to come out was actually my Native American cards, and I love that you got Queen of Swords, because the spider is also symbolized by the number 8 as well. So that's really freaking cool, but I'm excited to actually read into the meaning for you guys, because with this deck, yes, like you know, it's 8 of Swords, right? So there's like an actual tarot meaning behind that. But the reality is that with these cards, they have such special and deep messages based on like what story is being told in them. So 8 of Swords, or I'm sorry, Queen of Swords. Why did I was getting that confused. Spider, the spider woman, creator of the earth, weaves baskets with liana and willow branches, helped by the toad whose croaking attracts the rain and presides over purification by means of water. So a lot about creation here, right? Like, and the number 8, so that's why I was associating it with the 8. You know, it's just this abundance and co-creating and like seeing different types of reality. So I think that that's really magical. I think it's also cool that you guys have Queen of Swords, because it's talking about this clarity, right? This knowingness and this seeingness, and I think that that's really powerful. So with regards to the rest of the year, I think that this is something that you guys are learning to tap into even more potentially, is your clarity, your personal clarity, your ability to hold like firm boundaries. And especially if you're getting into or already doing like a deeper type of spiritual work, then this is definitely going to be important for you to do, is have that type of clarity and those types of boundaries. You guys also got grounding in number 6. That's really interesting. So with regards to number 6 is also a very abundant number. It's very loving. It's like unconditional love, and there's a lot of childlike nostalgia energy. But what I love about this grounding card in particular is how it showcases like the earth and the heavens really being connected. And to me, what this is showing is like the power of your ability to be that like bridge, right? That bridge between the cosmos and the earth, and really by utilizing your energy and your tools and your practices to take what you learn and really integrate it. So if you're someone who actually really like enjoys plant medicine or, you know, psychedelic experiences, I think the rest of this year is going to hold opportunities for you guys to practice this integration and grounding even more. And this could also be a very literal message of like just spending more time outside and in nature and really truly grounding into the earth and feeling really present in your experiences. You might have felt kind of like flighty and heady thus far, and maybe like you can't make things into a reality, but the reality is that you just have to do a little bit more grounding work. Which is, I feel like you're really good at this though. Like, I have a feeling that this is a strong suit of yours, pile number one, and I think that you're going to be experiencing that even more so the rest of the year. So I'm excited to see like what kind of comes from that, because I feel like these two have something to do with that. But we're going to go ahead and get into this Sacred Creators Oracle, and your message is the now. So this is a big theme for you guys the rest of the year. Being very, very grounded in the present. Very, very grounded in the present. We have number 47. So this master number 11. So that's pretty cool. I think you guys are literally meant to be here for this particular reason. Like, y'all are here in order to show people how to do this integration, and you're doing it by learning how to do it yourself and then actively doing it, and then people are seeing you and being like, oh wow, and maybe you are actually teaching or helping other people do that or understand, but like this is definitely a big part of why you're here. And we have a bunch of oracle cards, but these guys are from the Threads of Fate Oracle. So the first one is the Outlaw. Okay, so the rest of this year might be kind of interesting for you guys because I think you're really leaning into this type of energy, the outlaw energy, and just being like, I do things differently. I move differently. I walk and speak differently. And this is why people want to learn from you. This is why I think that you're really being called to be one of those advisors. And again, like, if the needing to seek out an advisor resonates more for you, that's totally fine. You know, like I always say, like, take whatever resonates and leave what doesn't. But I think for those of you who have really mastered the art of being very present and grounding, you know, the cosmos into the earth, and having that clear communication, having that ability to not only understand that for yourself, but like practice it in real life, this outlaw energy is like kind of why people are really drawn to you and want to hear from you or learn from you, because you're like, I have to do things my way, in the way that I see them, in the way that I feel like is right. And we have the wildling too. You guys are just, you're unconventional, and that's beautiful, and that's how you're supposed to be. That's who you're meant to be, and it's gonna cause a little fuss. It's gonna cause, you know, some upset, but the reality is like that upset is what's creating space for all the good stuff to flow in, you know? Like, we can't, like, creation doesn't, the way creation really works is like something has to go in order for something else to come through, right? So by being this energy, like holding the energy of the outlaw and the wildling, someone who's willing to fight and stand up for who they are and how they show up, this is really potent medicine for you guys. Oh, and we now here on the other side of things, we have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? So, a pretty big self-care message coming through, but I think the biggest thing is more or less like, how can you mother yourself? How, you know, I think you're probably at a point in your life where either your mom's like not around, like maybe your mom has passed, or you just live on your own. You moved out, you don't, you know, you're not around your mom anymore. So you're learning. You're really learning how to nurture and take care of and mother yourself. And by doing that, you are healing any types of mother wounds that you have. Because everyone has one to some degree, right? But looking at yours in particular, and knowing that the more that you learn how to mother yourself, the more healing that you're doing, which is really powerful. And this oracle I also have to read from as well, because there are some reversed meanings that are Also, very medicinal. So there we are. We have the medicine wheel reversed. So we have number 35 that totals up to 8. So you guys are getting a lot of abundance the rest of this year. I feel like a lot of abundance is coming through for you. You're manifesting a lot of abundance, and just knowing that that's on its way. So the essence of this particular card. The medicine wheel is a sacred hoop with the 4 cardinal directions well marked. It represents the cycle of life, the cycles of nature, and the circular pattern of our cosmos. It has been used for millennia in indigenous cultures to bring harmony and well-being to the village. Its directions symbolize the 4 steps the shaman takes to become a person of power and wisdom. So again, there's this note of wisdom and power and like shamanism, like sharing this type of, what's the word? Sharing this knowledge is really what it is, like sharing this universal knowledge, and you're really, really good at it. So it's something you need to honor, right? But the medicine, because this card is reversed, is saying you must not postpone your healing journey any longer. It can be difficult to start, but you must find the inner strength to step into the medicine wheel, or you may lose your opportunity. There are many ways and paths. Choose the one you most resonate with. Once you have found it, the only mistake you can make is to not follow it, so go boldly. And it's funny because I recently did a quick little reading on my Instagram, and that was one of the messages, was like, you literally can't make a mistake, you can't go wrong, you just have to move forward and act and do something. So you guys are really being called to dive deeper into your spirituality. I think you're really being called to lean into your outlaw energy, your wildling energy, your ability to channel and ground in integrated information. And a sign that's prominent for you is Gemini. So you could be a Gemini, sun, moon, or rising. There could be a very important Gemini in your life. We also have the number 3 here, so communion, community is coming up. But Gemini, I think for you, the important message here is like that, you know, that two-facedness, right? Those multiple aspects of self. And with this ability to really take the astral knowledge and, you know, the spiritual experiences and ground them down, that's very multifaceted, right? Because we have 2 sides of the coin. We have the ethers and we have the earth. And to be able to glean something from both and connect them and bring them together is actually really powerful. And that's something that I appreciate about Geminis, is I feel like they really do have this like all-encompassing sight of both sides of things. So it could potentially feel like very overwhelming for some people, but I mean, even with the Queen of Swords, I was getting, you know, that's like air energy, right? So just a message to lean into or acknowledge or understand like the energy behind the Gemini sign. And who else do we have for you? Ooh, we have the mountains. Stand your ground with grounding. With the wildling, like you guys are definitely doing something that's like potentially unconventional the rest of this year, but you're really being asked to lean into it. Like your guides are just saying like, you've got this, you can do it, you're fully supported, nurturing yourself throughout the process, leaning into other advisors if need be, but like you've got this. You are very smart, you know everything. It's all kind of innately in you, especially with like all these nature things coming up. Like you are very much so one with nature and close to the earth, but you're really being asked and called to like be firm about whatever kind of journey or growth or change this is that you're like in the midst of or embarking on for the rest of 2022. And the last card that we have for you, pile number 1, is self-soothing. Wow, again, mothering yourself. I soothe myself with caring words. I allow the space I need to accept my feelings about whatever has taken place. I calm, care, and provide for myself every day. So I feel like that's kind of part of your Star Mother message, is self-soothing. How do you soothe yourself? What kind of words do you use? How do you accept and make space for your feelings? And are you doing it in a calm way, really providing for yourself on a daily basis? How can you create some sort of daily practice that's really giving back to you and filling your cup? I think that you guys have gone through a lot, and you are definitely like a light being. You're a very light person, but this has been a hard journey for you, and there's some deeper aspect that is ready to be explored, and you kind of just have to push yourself and lean into it and kind of go all out. Like, go all out, buy the books, get the new wardrobe, like that type of thing. Like, fully embody who it is that you want and need to be in this world. Like, no matter what that looks like to others, really stand your ground. I'm super proud of you guys. I'm feeling a very big energetic shift with who I'm like reading for. So I'm grateful that the people who are receiving these messages are connecting with me. I just feel very connected with you guys. I feel very much so in a similar space as you guys. So this is very cool for me to see and to feel and to read for. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a really big thumbs up. Like, put all your love behind it because it does help my channel grow. And my goal is to just get these messages to everyone who needs to hear them. So if you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I believe that's it. If you feel like someone would resonate with this, feel free to share. I would absolutely love the more that these videos get shared. And if you wanted to book an individual reading with me, you can scroll down into the description box and you'll see the link for my website, and you'll be able to do it from there. But I love and appreciate you guys so much. I'm sending you a lot of love and light, and I will catch you in the next video. All right, pile number 2, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the rest of your 2022 reading. I'm excited to dive into this oracle card for you. This particular deck, the 2013 oracle, I haven't used on here yet, but I'm happy that it's finally decided to come out to play because it's a really deep-hitting deck. So we're gonna go ahead and find what page, on page 21. So 21 could be an important number to you. This is also the number 3 in this deck. And this is the Sacred Precinct Divine Center. So we're gonna go ahead and just dive into what this means for you guys. Sacred Precinct is a holy place that acts as a lens to enlarge our understanding of the sacred. Sacred Precinct is connected with sacred rituals and is a spiritual manifestation of great magnitude. Sacred Precinct teaches that the earth is a sphere, and no matter where we are at center. The entire universe comes to rest in this tiny spot and is present within it. Sacred Precinct is a powerful and universal geometrical form. It has been a paradigm for religious thought throughout the ages. The drawing of this card addresses the need for a beautiful, protected, and devotional space, a nurturing place for meditation and reflection. Sacred Precinct is a powerful gate to pass through for initiation. In it is a universe where spiritual earth and spiritual sky are joined. Each sacred space is unique. Each sacred circle embodies the principles of every other sacred circle. Sacred Precinct teaches that the small is related to the totality of life, and all are relatives. Ultimately, a sacred part of the totality of life resides within us. So, there's a lot more. These cards are very detailed and in-depth, but I'm working on like diving into the general meaning, but then the overall message for like you in particular as the viewer. So pile number 2, I think a few things are coming through for this. Number 1, it's very, very, very important for you to have some sort of sacred space for yourself. So whether that's an altar space, whether that's an entire room, you guys are really being called to have like a portal where you can enter into your spiritual aspects. It seems like something, I'm not saying like it has to be separate from, you can't have your spirituality and like, can't have your cake and eat it too. It's not that. It's just that for some reason, like the rest of the year for you, you need to have some sort of space where you can like totally call it your own and kind of enter into, like I said before, like a portal. Just like a portal of healing, a portal for your spirituality and supporting that. And I think that by having designated space for that. It's going to amplify whatever it is that you're kind of manifesting or calling in or working on. So that's really interesting. The space in particular is going to be very potent in amplifying whatever it is that you're working on. So if you're like diving deeper into your spiritual journey, it's really going to create so much more for you in that regard. If it's part of your work, it's going to bring you more abundance. Like, something about having this space for yourself is very, very, very important for the rest of this year. So some of you might literally have to be doing like some remodeling. Some of you kind of like might have to be like working with what you got, or finding that place to go to that's going to be like that for you, right? Some of us have our favorite coffee shops, but really making it sacred and like doing that in your own way. You know, I think we're led to believe that all of us have to have like some spiritual altar corner or room in the house, and it has to have these deities and these crystals, and like that's not the case. You bring sacredness to your reality, okay? So whatever your ritual is, or whatever things you bring to set up, like, that's what makes it sacred, okay? So the one tarot card that did come out, 10 of Swords for y'all, and we're actually going to read from this book too, because with the Native American Tarot, it has more to do with like the story and the animals or the things in the cards. So 10 of Swords is the puma. It symbolizes the power used for charitable purposes, strength, mercy, and equilibrium. Its association with the moon also links it with rebirth. I find that really beautiful, especially because normally 10 of Swords is like this. 10 of Swords is like the defeat card, right? Like the end of some kind of like overthinking cycle and just like feeling like utterly exhausted and worn out and done. But here we have this puma like eating all the swords, and I really personally resonate strongly with that message, right? You know, all these women are coming to care for it, and he's just sitting there chewing up metal. Right? So a lot of inner strength coming through for you guys, and I'm excited to see how else this plays out across the cards. Remembrance. Wow. I'm gonna have to pull the book on this one too. This might be a little bit more of an detailed, in-depth reading. But I figured that's kind of what was gonna happen, because it's just how the oracle works. It's just a little deeper and a little richer. But remembrance, and we have the number 11 too. So master number 11, and then we have 10, 11. 3, 10, and 11. So we have two master number, well, I think 3 is one of the master numbers too. But a lot of like really strong numerology coming through for you guys right now. So let's go ahead and see what this card has for you. Pile number 2, recalling your soul truth. So you are ready to live your life from the wisdom of your heart. You may have been seeing 1111 as a reflection of this. If not, you can expect to be receiving this sign soon. You may see it on clocks, on phone numbers, receiving it in a dream. So with this wisdom, fresh and innovative ideas will flow into your mind as new ways to live your life. No one else has to change their ways, only you. Live from your heart, be an inspiration, and discover a new world. Some call 1111 an awakening code. You must be awoken on some level to receive it. It is a sign that you are much more than you think you are. 1111 has many different explanations because we are all asking different questions, and there is no right or wrong. But at the heart of 1111 is a loving, intelligent energy that will always encourage you towards your soul, where you will remember the truth of you. This is actually pretty cool. So inspired reflections and actions. When you see 1111, stop what you are doing and do the above meditation. Oh, okay, so maybe we have to go through that. With time and practice, this will become your natural response to those numbers, and answers will effortlessly arise to you. So maybe you guys are actually at a point where you're starting to ask more questions. There's like some deeper aspects of your spirituality that you're diving into, and there's a lot of unlocking that's happening. Remembrance, right? So you're tuning into a lot of different frequencies that are very helpful for you. But let's go ahead and go through this meditation so that you do have it whenever you start to see 11 or 1111. So do this meditation when you see 1111. It is designed to unite the perception of the mind and the feeling of the heart, so the fullness of 1111's message can be revealed. Place the card at your heart, which I know not all of you are going to be able to do this, so just take a moment to put your hand on your heart when you see the numbers. Close your eyes and slow your breathing. In your mind's eye, see or feel empowering blue light embracing you and flowing with your breath. Blue light clears the way for full communication with all of your senses. Now think about what was going through your mind just before you saw those numbers. What thoughts were you thinking? Be honest with yourself. The small or the mundane are just as important as the obvious. When you have identified the thoughts, turn them into a color. Now, what were you feeling just before you saw 1111? What sensations were moving through your body? When you have identified your feelings, imagine they become a color different to your thinking color. See both of your colors side by side and bring them together to create a new color. Your new color shimmers with your truth. It grows to embrace you. Breathe it in and let it fill you. And now take notice of the first thing that comes into your awareness, as this will be a symbolic form of your answer. It may be a word, a phrase, a person, a symbol, or another color. An answer is forming and will drop into your thoughts, now or later. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, open your eyes and know you are wise. So I really like that because, a few things. I personally really resonate with connecting to colors like that, especially when I'm guiding meditations. So I think that by allowing yourself that moment of just receiving some sort of color, really breathing it in and working with it, and then opening yourself up to whatever thing comes to mind first, right? Just receiving some answers and guidance in that way. And next we have Stop, Drop, and Ground, which I think is very pertinent, actually, honestly, to... Where do you want to go? Over here? Okay. To this remembrance and this pushing yourself to get really, really present. We also have the number 31 equaling 4, so that is a number of foundation and stability. And, pile number 1 actually got a very similar message about grounding, so if you felt called to that pile, I would highly recommend you watch it. But knowing that in these moments, this is what you're being asked to do. This is what you're being called to do, is stop and ground yourself. Really ground yourself and integrate whatever knowledge is coming in, whatever things are coming in, remembrances, and put them into your reality, whether it's writing it or speaking it, anything really, or just starting to associate with a physical form. Ooh, and we have the card, the Weaver. And what I love about this is it's a remembrance of the fact that you are co-creating your reality. You are constantly making your reality, and you are weaving things in and out and assigning meaning to things and adding it into your tapestry of life. And we also have sacred sexuality, so a lot about creation, a lot about making your life what you want it to be and creating sacred space and coming into the present moment. The rest of this year is going to be, it's going to be really magical for you guys, because I think that you guys are stepping into your spirituality in a new level, and that's why you're being called to start to dive into gaining this information and this remembrance, and leaning into learning about numbers and colors and the meanings of things, and noticing how you start to create your reality as you notice this stuff. It's really kind of trippy. And then sacred sexuality just being all about you yourself as a creative force, sexual energy is creative energy. So tuning into that, what it means for you and how it shows up for you. And we have Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? Interesting. So I feel a lot of strong feminine energy coming through for you guys. And even if you're not a woman or you don't like associate as a woman, it doesn't really matter. This is more so about like that feminine creative energy and that, you know, energy of growth and energy of persistence and change, and especially seeing the swords, right? Seeing the swords coming up and just really being like firm and fighting for what it is that you want and need, and answering your deepest calling. You're being pushed and called to create something bigger than yourself, and really exploring that. So exploring what that means for you, exploring how that's showing up for you. And I feel like I'm getting some Libra energy too, so you might be Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. But a lot of air energy, especially with the swords too. So a lot of thoughts, a lot of air energy, and we have the Ten of Swords as well. Ooh, and we have the Moon reversed. We have another 10, so 3 plus 7 being 10. Let's go ahead and go into the medicine of this card, because there's a few decks, this one included. This is the Mystical Shaman Oracle, where when the card is reversed, it has a very specific meaning, and I do find it to be very like medicinal and healing. So the essence of the Moon card: every 28 days, the moon manifests a steady progression from darkness to light, and then back again. This phenomenon in our skies has a powerful impact on our human psyches, and it offers us the certainty that after periods of emptiness and darkness, there is a light waiting, so we can be reborn into a new phase. This calls to mind a native African prayer: to the moon, may our lives be renewed as yours is. The moon also has a strong influence on the ebb and flow of waters on Earth. The same power in turn affects human feelings and emotions and mirrors their rising from or hiding back into the unconscious. So notice, you know, have you noticed what your feelings, like what kind of feelings you experience throughout like moon cycles? Because generally speaking, like full moons have a tendency to bring up a lot of emotions. And I mean new moons too, but you know, noticing what comes up for you and how you feel around you know, the moon cycles. And the medicine for this card, because it did come up reversed, this card calls you to go on a journey of renewal, just like the moon does every month, so you can get unstuck, whether from a specific situation or life in general. For this, you need to make time to be with yourself, without the distractions of modern society, and have the courage to look at the unwanted or unremembered parts of your being until you arrive at a place of resolution. Shamanic lore explains that the finest treasures of humanity are hidden where people are most afraid to go. And that's usually into ourselves and into our darker places. And maybe that's why you're being called to create this sacred space and to tune into, you know, your personal inner strength, and to start remembering, and to be grounding, and to be diving into your sexuality, and to see how you're co-creating your reality. It seems like you guys are starting to like have a much more profound spiritual awakening, in the sense that like your life is really shifting in the way you perceive it and understand it. And some of you might actually, you know, whenever you watch this or throughout the rest of the year, might actually be going through like some form of therapy to deal with trauma. And it could potentially be around sexual trauma, or it could be around like traumas that you didn't even know existed. And that's part of the remembrance part. That's part of the going deep and honoring and paying attention to yourself, and grounding, really grounding, and creating that sacred space for yourself so that you have somewhere you feel safe. We also have Aries. Okay, so a couple of things. You could be Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. But a big thing that's coming through for me is that I think that Aries season was pretty impactful for you. And if it wasn't, the next Aries season will be. For sure. Because I think something happened during the season that really kind of like woke you guys up and was potentially a little jarring. But yeah, something about Aries season. So if you look back and really think about it, and feel into like what that season was for you or what was happening, there could be a lot of understanding or answers there. Or next Aries season, there's going to be some sort of big movement and shift forward. Oh, and we have the White Witch, be the light. I really love that for you guys because I think that you have been through, I think that you've been through a lot of darkness, but you know that and you're just like, well, I'm not interested in being the type of person that like falls into that and stays in that. You know, you acknowledge it, but you really transmute it into light. And this also correlates a lot to being like very nature oriented. So the grounding makes sense, and you know, the moon makes sense to me. It's like you're calling to just be more connected to nature. And pile number 1 got a very similar message. So again, like if you felt remotely drawn to that one, definitely go back and rewatch it. But there's a lot of healing power in nature that I think you guys are starting to like rediscover as well. And your last message is, I love growing older. This is pretty powerful depending on how old you are, whoever's watching this. I love every stage of life. Growing older is an opportunity to deepen my love for myself, to share my wisdom, to trust myself, to learn. I love the age I am. That's really beautiful. And I personally resonate with that. I love experiencing life and seeing what happens as I get older, and it's definitely not easy. You know, one of my professors in college said getting old is only for the brave, and I'm starting to understand that more and more all the time. But this is really beautiful. This is a beautiful reminder, especially with regards to like your earthly self and your earthly life. Once now that you're kind of blasting off into the ethers a little bit, really enjoying and reveling in your growth and seeing all the stages of life that you're part of. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching this. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. It does help my channel grow and help get these messages to wherever they have to go. And if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe so you can keep receiving readings. And I would be absolutely honored if you guys wanted to book an individual personal reading with me. That information is all down in the description. So I hope this reaches you well. I'm sending you a lot of love, and I'll catch you in the next video. Right, pile number 3. This is your guys' reading for the rest of 2022. I'm excited to see what comes through from this card because I haven't pulled this one yet. And this whole deck is like pretty new for me. I haven't shared it much on the channel, but it's the 2013 Oracle, and it is some deep shit. Whew, excuse me, hiccups. So I won't go like all the way into the whole meaning of the card because there's a lot of layers. Okay, here we go. With the hiccups. Hopefully they don't ruin the whole thing. But it's number 13, so 13 could be a lucky number for you. It could be a day that stands out to you. But at any rate, and also like the green is really standing out to me a lot, so the heart chakra is coming through. This could be something that you're like working on or that's really present for you during this time. But this is the card of Grasshopper, Mother Dead. The mother of all, Grasshopper leads us to understanding. Before our present creation, all of life was inside the earth. Grasshopper was the living matriarch of all life underneath. Grasshopper gave life to all beings that lived in this deep and mysterious place, including her human children. Grasshopper mother called Parrot. I will lead all my children up to a new world, a new sun, Grasshopper said to Parrot. All conditions are right. It will be a very different world. The way you experience life will be greatly changed. The sky is different. It is a good place I am taking you to, a better place. If you respect one another, everybody can live together in peace and harmony. Go now, Parrot, and tell all the beings of our world to assemble and get ready to ascend. And it was so. The great march to Earth's surface was organized. Grasshopper, walking behind and shepherding her children and all sentient life, guided them through tunnels towards the surface of the Earth. Go on up above, Grasshopper Mother told them. I will join you when all have emerged. All the creatures that we know today, the birds, the 4, 2, and many-legged beings, crawled out to this new world. The new world was stunning in its beauty and richness. There was a new sky with light, and it was good. There was day and there was night. There was noontime and there was midnight. There were foods in great variety, vegetation and many kinds of nuts, fruits, berries. The world was abundant with its gifts. And all beings were contented except the humans. The human tribe met in secret. I want to stay in this new world, the leader of the humans said. Our mother may force us to return to our old world, where we were often cold and hungry. We were always miserable there. I never want to go back down there. Let us destroy our mother when she emerges. We can chop her up and be rid of her by pushing her back down homeward into the earth. So, the rest of the story goes being reluctant and then destroying her. Oh, wow. So the Mother Dead cards mean to be on good terms with the sacred ground. She tells us to enjoy the beauty and satisfaction of being alive. Reverence and protect Earth and all life in it, on it, and above it. So this is a really interesting way to kind of just like start your reading, but diving into this like mythology, this story of like rebirth, but also this like, you know, innate human nature to like more or less kind of screw something up, right? And I think that this might be something that you've been battling with, is this like maybe like self-sabotaging talk is kind of what's coming up right away. You know, like, do you find yourself like listening to your thoughts very often, or getting stuck in these like thought spirals? And I think that this is something that's being highlighted for you for the rest of the year, so that you can actually start to practice more awareness around it and lean into what you actually want. Stop thinking about what you don't want. Stop thinking about the things that you don't like, and just calmly and kindly say like, no, that's not it, and just keep moving forward. So I'm excited to get into the rest of the cards and see how it all ties together, but it seems like there's a very big opening of your heart chakra happening, and an understanding of leaning into the new world that you've been exposed to, and not being afraid of what could happen or going back to the way things have been. You just have to not do the things you've done. Easier said than done, I understand, but ooh, and then the High Priestess comes out for you guys. And there's also a lot of meaning within this deck too, the Native American Tarot. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out that one. The Mother of Maize and Tobacco. From Mother Earth comes life, epitomized by maize, continuity, and tobacco. She indicates rebirth through an encounter with the divine, which is realized by traveling the labyrinth of oneself. So there's you guys. Okay, and Labradorite is standing out to me too. So if y'all are Scorpios, holler. But no, seriously, like there's something very, very potent about the rest of this year for you with regards to really tuning into your intuition, and like leaning into and learning from Mother Gaia, and learning more about Earth and connecting more with Earth energy. I think you are a very intuitive, spiritual people, but you're kind of getting wrapped up in your own thoughts around things and needing some soothing and easing out of that. But yeah, big rebirth, big personal rebirth on the horizon for y'all whenever you're getting this. Ooh, let your light shine. I don't even want to pull the book out on this one, because I feel like it's just so clear. It's like you are just such a magnificent, glorious, beautiful being, and you have so much to offer the world, and you just have to put it out there, and you just have to be that and embody it and exemplify that, and like not give a shit about anyone or anything else, or how how it shows up for anyone or anything else. Pretty clear and straightforward. Bliss is worth creating from. Bliss is worth creating from, for, from. I don't know if they meant to make that one and cross that one out, but bliss is worth creating from. I think you guys look at like the two hearts with the same colors too, the oranges and the yellows and the pinks, and then the oranges and the yellows and the pinks. A lot about the heart. So much about the heart, and you know, potentially like a lot of heart growth happening for the rest of this year, starting to learn what your heart space really is and what that provides for you and who that makes you, and truly finding your bliss. Because I think that some of you have been questioning like what you're doing, or how you're showing up, and feeling like you're pushing and pulling and just working too hard. And I think that you need to learn how to lean into bliss more and create that and cultivate it for yourself, and see what can be created from that space. Things just happen so naturally for you guys, and I think that you're kind of fighting it. Reclaim. Yeah. See, now already it's like you got to reclaim yourself. How do we do that? What kind of sacred practices and energy and stuff do you need to reclaim that? Who do you need to spend time with? What do you need to be doing in your spare time that's reclaiming your energy? I love how the sun came out as we said that. Ooh, and we have ask body. So I feel like your body's been talking to you too. I feel like your body has been like giving you hints and signs, and you're getting some understanding and clarity of what it is that you need to be doing for yourself, and you're just not doing it. So I think that for the rest of this year, making sure that you not only like lean into your intuitive side, obviously, because that's very, very present for you and that's very easy for you, but also like asking your body and talking to your body more and seeing what it needs. And then we have dance with life, do something to change your energy. So whenever I get this card, I always have this feeling of like I literally have to like get up and dance and move. But sometimes it literally is just like some form of movement, right? Like just get up and like shake around or go for a quick jog. Just do something that shifts your energy. Like even now, I'm like, oh, okay. Just like move around a little bit, like do something that shifts you out of the state that you've been in, especially if you've been in a space of like overthinking and just not feeling very connected to self or your heart. Doing something to change that energy. Dancing around, grabbing a partner, or like going to the gym, or just something. Do something where you move and shift your energy. And again, ask your body, tune into your body and ask it for what it needs. Wow, we have the rainbow. I'm excited to read this one. We have number 41. So the number 5 is a lot about growth and challenges. Let's see who else is in here. We'll go ahead and read this for you guys. So the essence of this card. The rainbow symbolizes the 7 steps of a true spiritual path, which manifest as the colors of the 7 chakras. In the Himalayas, the rainbow body is seen as the full realization of our essence. The rainbow also represents the bridge between the physical and the spiritual worlds. At the end of our lives, we can journey across the rainbow bridge to the highest heavenly realms. And when the rainbow appears, it is an affirmation that all is well and that you are in right relationship with spirit. So the invitation, because this card is upright, the rainbow tells you that the end of the storm is near. Persevere and remember that it is darkest just before the dawn. Do not give up hope. Things are about to make a positive turn. Listen for the morning rooster that announces the coming of the dawn, even while the night is still darkest. But do not claim victory yet or let your guard down fully. So this is that's the message of like, all right, it's coming, so just keep persevering. Like, here's your sign type of a thing. I think you guys have just been in a really tough mental space, and Spirit's coming through to be like, look, it's gonna get better, but you have to put the work and the effort into yourself, okay? We also have the sun, and I love that this came through. Another 13? Why did I feel like 13 popped up? Was the grasshopper card 13? I don't know. But I love that the sun came out, because your sun sign, your beingness, the energy of the sun is just so important, and like claiming and tapping into that energy of the sun, that Leo energy, that pride, your solar plexus, that's like just, and there's a lot of, the yellows are really standing out to me too. So whatever you need to do to really fuel that fire, guys. Like, just take time to listen to yourself and ask what that is, because you definitely need it. And we have Protection Guardian. Drop your shields. And after this card said, what was it, like, don't drop your guard just yet. What I think is interesting about this, and notice how she's got this like rainbow thing going on too with the peacock feathers and her wings, is that you are very divinely protected. You have a lot of protection around you. Your guides and your guardians are very present with you, and I think that you do the work to really protect yourself. You have to drop your inner shields, like your personal shields, your walls that you put up when you face pain or hurt or disappointment or anger. Those are being asked to be dropped down, because you're okay. Like, you're safe and you're taken care of. You can't be afraid to be yourself. And we have imaginative freedom. I allow my creativity to flow. Whether I write, draw, sew, sing, play, or dance, I will be there. I appreciate my imagination and all its amazing beauty. I love that too. I think that that's amazing for you guys, especially because you got like the dancing and creating. Bliss is worth creating from. Something about you guys and letting your light shine. Like, you just are naturally a very creative person, so it's time to reclaim that. And maybe you're finding new ways to reclaim that. Maybe you're finding new, like, I think that you are finding new ways to show up in that way, in that creative way as yourself. And I think that that's kind of part of why you picked this pile, is you kind of needed to hear that, like, stuff's gonna be okay and you are changing a lot as a person. Like, a lot. And these phases don't always happen super, super quickly. We can feel like we've done a ton of work and then be like, okay, I'm me now, right? But then there's still that question. So you guys are on the right path. You're doing the right things. It's just a matter of really leaning into yourself so much more. So much more. However that shows up for you, whatever that means for you. And I love that the sun's coming up here as well. So just a lot of sun energy. Make sure you're getting out in the sun. Make sure you're connecting with nature, and everything's going to be okay for you guys. You know, just keep persevering. Be gentle with yourselves. Truly, you're doing a lot of healing. Like, you're doing so much healing work. So thank you for doing that for yourself and for everyone else around you. And thank you for watching and tuning in. If this resonated with you, please give the video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel grow, and it helps these messages get to where they need to go. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button. Again, I deeply, deeply appreciate you guys. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll... All right, pile number 4. Sorry, I just hit the whole... I hit the whole thing. Welcome to your guys' reading. This is the rest of your 2022, whenever you're watching this, or if you landed on this and it's not 2022 anymore, there's definitely still a specific message in here that was meant for you to listen to. So y'all pick the number 4. Please don't mind my cat scratching in the background. The number 4, and I've gotten this card before. It's actually really freaking cool, and it's all about, like, who's seen oh shit, El Dorado. It's that ball game that they play where they, like, use their bodies to get the ball through the cement hoops. So it's all about that. So I'm really excited. Let's see, page 147. Oh no. 75. Yeah, so the ball court challenges. This is also number 17, so that's like one of my lucky numbers. But the ball court is just talking all about, like, the primitive nature of needing to have a game, right? Like, basically, like, this whole game was like a game of life or death. Like, you would die if you lost this game. So this is, what is this? I feel like there's something in here that I do have to read for you guys. Yeah, game of life and death. Humans having free will. Plays shifting in an instant. Like, what games are you playing? What are your personal challenges? Yeah, so there's a lot there. There's a lot for you guys to kind of uncover with that. With, like, how are you going to play with the rest of the year? Like, and what's, you know, are you really putting 100% of your effort in? what kind of, like it says, what kind of games are you playing, you know? So really taking note of all of that is going to be important. But I'm excited to dive into your, like the rest of your oracle cards, because I think that more is going to come from this. Oh, Six of Pentacles. Cool. And in this deck, this is actually talks about the rainbow. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and read about the rainbow for you guys. 6. Yep. The spirit of the rain has rainbows for legs and arms, bridges between the earth and sky. And that really does talk about like you as the bridge, right? And okay, the cats are super wound up, so I do apologize. You're probably going to hear them tearing around the house a bit, but that's like what the energy is for your pile, honestly. The other piles, like 1, 2, and 3 were very heady and very ethereal and spiritual, but for y'all, there's something about this very like grounded, enthusiastic aspect. And like humans literally are that bridge. They're the spiritual bridge between like the ethers and the world. Ooh. Okay, so some of y'all have some like really big like dreams and goals and visions that you're working on. You got 17 again too. So 17, 1 plus 7 is 8. And this actually came up in a couple of the other readings, and it's just this number of like, it's this number of like infinite possibilities. Really, like if you turn it on its side, it's the infinity symbol, right? So knowing that there's going to be a lot of abundance coming for you the rest of this year, but it's if you're actually like working hard and being really focused and playing the right games is kind of what I'm hearing. But the whole visualize thing, especially coming through with this card, like with the lotus and even like the smaller person within, everything in this card is just saying like you have really great manifesting powers with your visualization, with your internal skills. So make sure that like whatever it is that you're manifesting or asking for or working towards, you're having really strong visuals for that in particular, especially with your meditations. Wow. You are living poetry. This ties in so well with the Six of Pentacles in this deck. And I'm not even reading it as like the traditional Six of Pentacles meaning, because the rainbow message is so strong, right? It's just, it's all about like who you are and why you're here. And this saying you're living poetry, like you are literally living, breathing energy that is consistently like tying the ethers into the earth, which is really beautiful. You guys also have the card Withdraw. Okay, let's pull the next one too, and the Creator. All right, so it looks like for the rest of this year, what to expect is you have been doing a lot of work and manifesting and like showing up, but I think like the game is kind of changing for y'all. So you're gonna need to take some time to take some respite in order to fuel back into being the creator, because I think that you've kind of burnt yourself out a little bit. And it's been tough to get like your visualizations. It's been tough to like choose your game, right? So there's definitely an essence of needing to take some time for yourself in order to kind of reestablish your connection with like the divine and feeling like that creator that you are. Take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. All right. So during the time of this reading, y'all are really being told to take a chill pill. You cannot be the creator unless you fuel it, right? So if you just keep having like these visualizations and all that stuff, that's great. But you have to be living your life a little bit more. So there is this game of balance, I think, that you're also playing, with regards to like being like the beautiful soul that you know you are, but also like living and breathing and being a human. Ooh, and we have many paths in reverse. Okay, so let's check that out. There's medicine in the reversal of these cards. So I really do enjoy diving into it. So the essence of this card, if you're looking at it upright, all paths lead to spirit. What you bring to your journey is what will determine if yours is a path of suffering, a path of wisdom, a path of bliss, or a path of loss. Consider the traveler who met two stonemasons. He asks one what he is doing, and the mason replies, "I am squaring out this stone." He asks the other, who is doing the exact same thing, and gets the reply, "I am building a cathedral." One man has a job, the other man has found his work and calling. He's part of an endeavor much greater than himself. Be sure you pick a path with heart. So this is reversed, and I'm already kind of sensing what the message is going to be, but you have outgrown your current situation and risk losing your way in your own backyard. You are being called to step out of your comfort zone. Respond now while the call is still a gentle whisper. Even though the woods look thick and impenetrable, venture in and let nature guide your steps through the dark until you reach your destination. Remember, if you do not know where you are going, any path will take you there. So I think that's why you're being called to stop and rest, because you need to realign yourself. You need to like come back to this message of being like that living poetry, like you are poetry in motion. You need to be like focused on like what the game, right? The essence of the game is just coming through so strong right now. We also have Aquarius and then master number 11. Okay. So Aquarius, to me, you could be Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising, or it could be Venus in your chart. It could be your Venus as well. But Aquarius is like the humanitarian, you know, it's the water bearer. It's the one who has a much bigger picture. And for me, like the whole visualize and Aquarius energy goes together really, really strongly, because that's what y'all do. And that's what Aquarius energy is it's like visualizing and seeing the future, right? And knowing how to bring it all and tie it all together and bring it down to earth. We also have Elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. So this could be something that you guys are just used to as well. This could be like just kind of in your bones. You're just used to kind of dragging yourself down and overworking yourself, and that ain't it. That's not it at all. You really have to look back at your family, and even potentially even further back, and look at what your like people were persecuted for, and anything else like that, you know, like what are some ancestral patterns that are holding you back, that you've kind of linked yourself to that maybe you don't necessarily need to be linked to. Wow. Y'all have a very synchronized reading. I accept my whole self. I lovingly let go of conditioning that tells me who I should be. I embrace who I am and celebrate my truth. Y'all are getting a really stark reminder of the fact that like you don't have to be what anyone else is or what anyone else says. Like you radiate spiritual energy and realness. And sometimes you just have to take a break to come back to realize that that's who you are and what you're here to do, in order to come back and see that you're the creator. You're the one co-creating. You know, step away from the stuff that's not working or not serving you. Step away from the things that are just like too like old and ingrained in your familial patterns, you know, letting go of your conditioning and embracing and celebrating your whole truth. And I keep coming back to this rainbow of like, and this will resonate with you however, you know, however it will. But man, guys, like you are just spiritual light beings and powerhouses that are filled with energy and have so much to offer. And you have a really beautiful outlook on the world and you have great vision. It's just that you need to take time to like reconnect with yourself and really truly like start to unravel and let go of any of these things, right, that aren't serving you. So I hope that this reaches you guys well. Please give the video a thumbs up if it did, and if you enjoyed it. That really helps my channel grow and helps these messages get to where they need to go. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to click the subscribe button. I appreciate you all so much. I'm sending you a lot of love, and I will catch you in the next video.